go live button. Let's see if Twitch and YouTube agree with me. Thinking. All right, looks good. Oh, that was fast. I'm wondering if the changes that I made to make my computer not crash also made the latency lower. It's possible. I am thinking that perhaps it was a combination of Twitch and Spotify. That seems likely to me. And I have linked in the YouTube description, and let me quickly copy paste it to Twitch as well, if y'all are watching on Twitch, the code link that we are going to be working from. We're getting it back into Transformers. So let's start up this bad boy and get going. And I do have to stop at 5 today. Don't let me go over. I have something at 6 that I need to be at. I am teaching a class, and if I'm not there, the class won't happen. So I know last time I got really excited. All right, so where are we at? What do we do? Change our working directory. We imported all our stuff, and we read in all our data. We have this handy function that Ryan made for us to remove all the notes, so we removed all of those. This was where the line break was. We can probably get rid of that. And now we are into the actual meat of the code. So this is a class that we do our training testing split in. You can see I'm doing it by row index, which is not the way that you should do it, but it's how I'm doing it here. So shh. We're setting all of our hyperparameters, batch size, learning rate, log directory. So this must be the place where the files are going to be put for our logging rather than having them printed out. So we might need to use that Python module, who's a what's it, that does automated logging. And I forget what it's called. More parameters, it looks like. Sorry, hyperparameters. So max length, maximum number of words in a sentence. Feel free to increase if you are ambitious. Words that occur less than minimum count are entered as the unknown token. So we need to have words that show up at least 20 times. Wonder Boy on Twitch says, "Hello Rachel, glad to catch your stream. Been meaning to for a few weeks." Well, welcome. I'm glad you could catch it as well. Okay, number of hidden units, number of blocks, number of epochs or epochs, however you say it. I like epochs. I also like niche over niche for like a little hole that you stick stuff in. There's probably some sort of pattern there. Number of heads. So I believe this is the number of self-attention heads that are trained congruently. So this would be like, instead of vacuuming with one vacuum, you're vacuuming with 8 vacuums lined up in a row at a time, kind of. Dropout rate, which I believe they learned. I think they learned it in the original paper, in the attention is all you need paper. It's been a minute. And then this is whether or not you use that weird positional embedding thing that they used where like the index, it wasn't really an index, was determined by some sinusoidal function that we couldn't really understand why they did when we read the paper. And the recordings for us reading the paper together are in another playlist, also on the Kaggle YouTube channel. Okay, so I think that what happened last time, and it's been a minute, and I've had a really long week in the interim, was that we had talked about this class. We'd changed the definitions in the class to make it work with our local environment. We made a new directory to put our pre-processed text in for our pre-processing. we changed this, I believe. We changed this function to make the vocab for us. Did I actually define this class? No, I didn't actually run the cell that has the class with the hyperparameters in it. Name old bib cleaned, not found. We definitely did that last time, right? Am I making that up? Let me look at this. Let me look at this draft. Let's see. So there's one from last week, from 2 weeks ago, and then the one before that. So let me quickly check this version and make sure that we have that. So is there the hyperparameters? Blah 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 blah. Okay, so we don't get an error here. Oh, I see. I think we actually deleted that cell. I think I looked at that cell with my eyes and then deleted it just now. So let's put that back in. And now this should run. Okay, yeah, that runs now. Excellent. This is why you version your work, because sometimes you just delete stuff. And I believe this will not work. Yeah. So we need to make a new Bible vocab as well and point it to where we need vocab. And we don't have codecs, which are referred to. All right, so we're getting the error in make vocab. It's happening with codecs.open, with codecs.open. So we need to import codecs. Let's add that in here. All right, so this time it should work, maybe? All right, yeah, that did work. So the other thing that we need is, so what have we done? So far, I'm just going through and running the code that we wrote last week that should work. So far, we've made the vocabulary for the old Bible. And if we, let's see, look at the things in here. So I'm just doing ls. And then if we change direction to the SSED, tab complete doesn't work here. And then we look here, we can see something called, okay, noted. So it's with codecs opened, pre-processing, format file name. All right. So basically we're tokenizing and we're making a little vocabulary list as file out, file write. Okay. For word count. Okay. I don't file name and then text. What did we say the file name was? We said the file name was .oldbible. And it should be in /Kaggle /working /preprocess. So let's change directories to /Kaggle /working /preprocessed. No such file or directory. Oh, I see. So the current directory that we're in is /Kaggle /input. So we are in the file folder where the data that we are reading in is. We are not in our working directory. So let's just go to root. Let's go to Kaggle. And then there we should see our working directory. The directory is called working, and now it is our working directory. And it was not previously. All right, change PREPROCESSED, yeah. And then in here we see a file called Old Bible, and let's give me 10 lines of Old Bible. Oops. Do I not need to say 10? I can never remember the bash syntax for head. What if we call it that instead? So now we should have so I've added the file extension .txt. Nucleohide says head N2. Oh, I forgot to flag 10 and then old Bible.txt. Invalid syntax. Noted. Nucleohide says, on Twitch, yeah. Bash head command a syntax. Head blah 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 blah. Yes, please just show me something to copy and paste. So I should just be able to say head and then files. Okay, let's try that. I think I did that, but I could be wrong. So head old Bible did not work. Head old Bible.txt, maybe it needs that extension. Also did not work. Have I misspelled head? Maybe we used cat last time? I don't remember. TXT. Did it print the whole thing? It did, in fact, print the whole thing. And Wonderboy says that I don't need the end flag, but it also does look like a good file. Oh, actually, it's a TSV, so I should probably use the correct thing. And I am gonna try head 10 old Bible just to see if it works. It don't. So maybe with TXT. Yeah, still not. Fascinating. So we can't use head. Bubble Ride says, good morning. Good morning, Bubble Ride. Shed says head oldbible.txt. I think, so that would be correct R syntax. It might be correct Python syntax. I don't know if it's correct bash syntax, which is what I thought we were doing. Let's see if it works. Nope. Okay. Well, we figured it out. And we printed out the whole file instead of some of the file. But you can see that we do in fact have words from a Bible in it. And also that we have not handled capitalization. So I think I can actually do that in here. Oh, did I print out too much text? Did I ask for too much? There we go. I think I can do two lower here. Right? Two lower? Nope. Maybe? Let's find out. All right, that did not work. String object has no attribute to lower. Chad says, oh, you're using bash, head old bible.tsv. You would think. For some reason, the head command isn't working, and I don't care enough. I don't wanna troubleshoot it. Is it dot lower? Oh, except now I do want to actually look at some of the file. All right. Am I in the right directory? I am. And let's try the TSV because that should be the correct one. Yeah, it doesn't like it, and I don't know why. But I think I can do cat. Bash cat number of lines. Yep, that's what I want. Specific number of lines. That is what I'm looking for. No, that doesn't work. Somebody says awk. Getting into it. Easy with said. Shed says, but you're getting a Python error. Yeah, I think that's because the what is it called? Holy moly. The kernel. Oh, wow, this is confusing. So the Jupyter kernel is the Python kernel. And I think it is restricting... Nope. I think it is restricting what commands we can do. Someone says use the magic. Because the console should... Oh, the magic worked? Fascinating. Shed was correct. I don't know why. JM Romer says, Ellis works in Python REPL too. You're in a Python REPL. That, okay, noted. I thought that I was in Bash, but I am apparently not. So, good to know. And then, so I should be able to do tail as well. Yeah, nice. And you can see that these are all now lowercase and have been stemmed a little bit, it looks like. So I see faithful, which I'm assuming is faithful, faithfully, except sorcerers is plural. Okay, there also could just be some like straight up typos. Like I'm assuming this is supposed to be either. But it is very low frequency, and everything lower with that occurs, any word that occurs less than 20 times, we're just gonna kick right on out. So I'm not too worried about it. And then we also want the new Bible, the Bible, which is going to stand in for our, oh, what's it called? It's gonna stand in for our, I actually probably want this down while I run the code and not before I define the function. It's what's going to stand in for our modern speech in our old-timey-ifier, which is the eventual aim of this project is that we should have a translator, quote-unquote, that will take in modern English and give us early modern English, so it'll sound sort of Shakespearean-y, except nearly, and not via rule-based systems, which is what most of the things that look like that end up doing. So new underscore bib was our file, the object that we had read in, what we called it, I believe. So let's call this new Bible, and new bib to string.lower. File exists. Excellent. No errors. I am going to leave this in here, so then when we run the kernel from top to bottom, it should work. Bubbleside says, why 20? Why not a percentage? Because that is what the original repo author said, and we just haven't changed the defaults. Ryan says, new bib cleaned. I don't think I cleaned it. Did I? I think the old bib cleaned is because I removed that line that was blank in one of the copies and not the other ones. But I don't think I made a cleaned version of the new one. Yeah, so the cleaning here is just literally dropping an empty line so that they are parallel, is the idea. All right, vocabulary, check. The next thing that we need to do is all of this nonsense. All right, to do, rewrite load vocabulary functions to work with our file system. Hopefully we can just use this as it is. So this we are importing from our repo that we read in as a data set, which again is not the like most useful way of doing things. We're working on it. Actually, if you guys have thoughts on how to add files that you would want to import and what you might want that to look like, you hit me up on Twitter. My DMs are open. I would love to talk to you about it. Probably not until Monday because it's Friday afternoon, but yeah, let me know. Okay, so I need to, first of all, let's get rid of this. Create vocab lists from our text files. Bullbride says, shouldn't we analyze a typo error frequency or something? We could. Mostly I want to get the model working, and then I want to go, and then I'll probably go in and do some like a little bit more fine tuning. But I mean, so the reason I'm not super worried about typos is because we are removing all of those low frequency words. The likelihood is that the typos will be very low frequency. The other thing is spelling rules actually only started solidifying around the time when modern English texts, early modern English texts were being produced with the advent of printing. And so I think some spelling variation would be interesting and useful and a good representation of the language that we're trying to what am I trying to say? The language we're trying to generate. I want those sort of like old-timey spelling variants. But that's, you know, that's a personal choice. That's an aesthetic feeling that I have. All right. Rewrite load vocab function to work with our file system. I don't know what get batch data is. I am assuming we are also going to have to get that. So let's find these functions, see what they look like. It's over here in our code section. I'm clicking. Oh, I haven't clicked on the exact file. That's not helpful. Let's see. The answer to life says, why are we using someone's implementation rather than the tensor to tensor TensorFlow official implementation? Good question. We talked about that in the first one. Basically, we looked at it and the question that it was asking was different enough that we would have to have done major organization of the code and refactoring of the code. And the question for this was more parallel. The specific task they were using was more parallel, so we could use it with less futzing. It seemed easier. That's my answer. Bubble Ride says, does the code identify synonyms? It do not. Nope. Yeah, good question. I mean, they're hopefully, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it's like. I'm hoping we'll get to input today, or at least start to get to the point where we can start to train. It might take a minute to train. We'll find out. Oh, there it is. So I was looking for a link to the Code Geepo, and we actually had it in another tab that y'all can't see because I have many windows open. Okay, data load was the thing that we were looking at, and the specific functions we were looking at was these ones. Stoop, copy. Create data, load train data, load test data, get batch data, load train data, tensor. Okay, so this we shouldn't have to mess with. It doesn't look like it's interacting with the file file system at all. It does look like the load vocab ones are the ones that are going to interact with our file system, and that the rest of these functions are referring to the hyperparameters in the hyperparameter class. So we can pretty much ignore those, is my hope. All right, so we're gonna have to rewrite these, and let's do that in a new cell so that they point to things on our file, in our file system, and not things in their file system. So my current working directory is Kaggle working preprocessed. Okay, and I am not actually going to change the Dutch and English names because I think it's going to be a little bit easier for us if we keep them and don't have to change them, which suggests to me that it might have been a little bit helpful to say like load target vocabulary, load source vocabulary, because machine translation, the source is the language you're translating from and target is the language you're translating to. But we're not doing that here. Is it from English or is it from English to German or German to English? This is an important question because otherwise I'm going to make old-timey text sound, current, and that seems less helpful. German English parallel corpus. Blue score. Source. So it's German to English. So German is the source. Load. Source. Vocab. Load. Target. Vocab. A Nucleohide says, FYI, I just want to clarify that I wasn't being weird with the man head comment. I was really just wondering if you had access to manual pages. Figured it could be misconstrued as something bad. Anyway, good catch. Oh, yeah, I hadn't even registered it. I was just... Thank you. I appreciate that you are sensitive towards that. All right, so the only thing that we need to change is what it is pointing towards, which should be /Kaggle/working/preprocessed, / and then our source is the old Bible, and our target is the new Bible, and if I am very lucky, this is all I have to change. All right. And I think I can just get rid of these now because we are defining the functions in our notebook and we've already loaded them in. By the time we hit this cell, we don't need to import them. We should just be able to use them by name. Yeah, let's find out. Bubble Rise says, any language to German translation must be painful. I don't know. German and English are fairly closely related, so I think that that's not probably actually that rough. All right, no module named data_load. All right. Okay, so, oh gosh, I got to think about. So in Python, you can only load, let me make sure all of these are absolute, not relative. You can only load modules from your current working directory or if they're in path. And I don't think we can add things to path from in kernel, so I think we have to move our working directory to there. So, Kaggle dot. So it's actually in input, and then it's in transformer code, and then it's in repo, and then it's in blah, blah, blah. And that should work. So let's see if this works. Whoop. That didn't work. Okay. Is it in our current directory? No. So did this not change the directory? The answer to life says, surely just copy the get batch data function to the notebook. We could, but then, so this is the data load is the first, TQDM. That's what the little viewer, little bar, progress bar is. Yeah, I think that might be easiest, because we're also going to have to import modules, unfortunately. So I think we're just going to end up with one big notebook instead of nice code that's all, actually, let's leave these in here right now. Get batch data. Instead of code that's all like nicely parameterized and pulled out and looks good, we're going to have a mess, a huge mess. All right. Oh, this might still be a problem because it looks like we still need all of these other files, maybe? Let's find out. All right, get batch data. Let's try this and see if it works. So we've got those. Whoop. And now our error should be that we can't import modules. Okay. Can I want it small. I want it small. Be small. Collapse. Oh, maybe it's only the output of cells that you can collapse. That sounds right. All right, so let's now copy and paste all the modules code in, I guess. Oh man, I really feel like I'm just like jumping up and down on the bed. Shed says remove space between bang and CD. Still doesn't work. I'll just copy and paste. Is it the dumbest thing I've ever done? No. Is it the most efficient work style? Also no. Well, it's probably just as well to have it all in one spot. So people who are going through and looking at the code can see it all at once. All right. You gonna work? No errors? Because I definitely see white space. That looks good. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. This is in Python 2. Kaggle kernels use Python 3 only because we believe in the future. That's not fair. There's lots of reasons to use Python 2. I prefer not to, given the choice. But perhaps that's not you. All right, well, that didn't work. 8. That also didn't work. I don't know why we have weird white space errors here. I'm just gonna ignore them. I mean, there's a lot of, the answer to life says lol Python 2. There's a lot of legacy code that's written in Python 2, and that's what people have to work with because that's what they've got. And, I mean, that's, for some people, that's just the way of it. All right. Name, load train data, not defined. Load train data, okay. Yeah, oh, I think we didn't actually copy and paste all the code that we needed. So let's go here, data load.py, and let's actually just, oh no, we can't. I was gonna say let's do the whole thing, but we can't because we need those 2 lines that we changed. Okay. Boop, okay. And then, oh, nope, don't want that because that is definitely going to give us some errors. And I think we probably don't need this because I think this is probably for Python 2 future compatibility. All right, let's do that. And then let's get everything from below the load English vocabulary. And then try it and then see if that works. This isn't very elegant, Rachel. It's not. Get it to work first, and then get it to be elegant, I guess, is my stance on it at the moment. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. Here we get no module data load. I think that's normal. That was too fast. There's no way we trained something. Okay. Traceback, graph, train, print, expected. Okay, this is a new error. String bytes or os.path-like-object, not series. Oh, it's because I'm trying to open the file, and instead of opening the file, I can just be like, here it is. Let's see. Bowright says Python 2, why? Ryan says, near state-of-the-art transformer model written in Fortran. People use Fortran. Like all of the US's GIS data is stored in Fortran that they have like 4 people who know how to use. Jer says, path to directory, os.change directory, path to your directory containing the module. Yeah, if we need to change directory again, I might do it that way instead. But it looks like, for now at least, we've got things more or less working. Fingers crossed. The thing that I do need to do is make it so that it doesn't need a file, and instead it has it knows to expect a series. So let's see, built-ins.open. Where's that coming from? It can't just show up once in an error message and never again. Oh, okay, I see. So the problem is in codecs. So the thing that we actually have a problem with is the DE sense and ing sense. So DE_SENTS. Okay. All right. Gotcha. And so this is coming from .sourceTrain.targetTrain. And then Ryan says, we're getting close. I'm excited for this to go. Some really poor translations because there isn't enough text. But it is very parallel text. So it's one of those things where if it gives us the same thing in that we gave it, the same thing out that we gave it in, it's still like usable. All right, let's see. Source sent, target sent in zip, get word, append, create data, load vocab, encode it. Source train. So this is the thing I'm looking for, source train. Where are you getting that from? Okay. So what format does it need to be in? What if I just say source train? Nah? Oh yeah, and it's a property of HP because that's the class. So I think it's assuming that it's reading in a flat text file and it's doing all of the pre-processing, and we're just gonna ignore that and say we've already done the pre-processing. Good job, us. All right, so that's been run. That was another quick exit. We definitely have an error. Oh, nope, sorry, that's not the code that actually runs that bit. Oh, it's slow. Oh, I do like slow things. Hey, okay. That's a lot of warnings. But, little square. Still running. I think this may be it. I think it's training. Let's see. So, we ended up having to move all of our modules, our nice modular code that Kyubyong spent so much time doing a good job breaking out and doing best practices and stuff, and then we had to go and put it back into one flat notebook. I'm sorry. Ryan says GPU is off. I don't think we need a GPU for this. A good call, but I think this should run on a CPU if I remember correctly. Somebody who knows more about TensorFlow than I am. Bubbleright says internet and GPU isn't working on Kaggle anyway. It should be. It should be. Unless we're at capacity, but I don't think we should be right now. Ryan says, turn on GPU and rerun or else we'll die here. My question is, if I just... all right. It has no idea how long it's going to take. 4%, that's pretty good. 8%, that's not that bad. Yeah, I think I'm willing to just like sit here and let it go. Although that is a lot of TensorFlow warnings. Type is unsupported. Type the items don't match a field in collection def. Note that this is a warning and you're probably safe to ignore. Future media versions of TensorFlow will allow gradients to flow into the label's input on backprop by default. Okay, so we are specifying something that happens by default. Slice input producer is deprecated and will be removed in a future version. Queue-based input pipelines have been replaced by tf.data. Use tf.data.dataset from tensor slices, tuple tensor list. .shuffle tf.shape. Oh wow, this is really hard to parse. Repeat number of epochs. If shuffle equals false, omit the .shuffle. Range input producer is deprecated and will be removed in a future version. So maybe we're doing something a little bit weird. Oh, wait, this is the epoch. This is total training. Ryan says, yes, I guess that's fine. It's mostly just because they used a bunch of deprecated stuff from TensorFlow. Yeah. And the Bubble Ride says, is this word-to-word translation? I believe it's sentence level. That's the thing about, I mean, if there are, we've got verses that are parallel, right? So we've got verses from Bible 1 and the verses from Bible 2, and we are, comparing them to each other. It should work at the verse level. And the thing about attention specifically is that it doesn't happen recurrently, or it doesn't happen in order. Sorry, not attention generally, but specifically the transformer model is that it's happening, using my hands, is it looks at everything and then updates the weights and then updates the weights and then updates the weights and updates the weights. And there's 3 sets of weights, which I think are kind of confusingly named, but that's just me. All right, recording summary at step 49. So we have tensor object has no to proto. This may take a minute. So I think this is our, I'm confused. So this says, I'm confused about what the, this is telling us. So is it telling us, TQDM is telling us batches, so it's the total number of batches. Is this the only little progress bar that we have? Basically, I have no idea how long this is going to take. So this is at 1 of 24. This is at 0 of 24. I don't know if they're updating, this is at 38 of 24. So I don't know if they're updating like each one. I don't know if they're statically updating. I don't know how far along we are, is my thing that I'm saying here. Ryan says, that is the number of steps we have to take given our batch size. Then on top of that, we're doing 20 epochs. So, okay, I see. And we're only, so this is where we are in our batch. And then every time we start a new epoch, we get a new bar. And then the bar shows us total completion, I guess. But we went through from 1 epoch to 9 epochs. I don't know. I'm confused. Shed says 24 is the epochs. Okay. Oh, Wonderboy says, anyway, we can get a live view into your notebook and kernel within Kaggle, or is it only changes since you last saved it? Yeah, unfortunately, there's no way to sort of look at something live as somebody is editing code. You can just sort of look at, excuse me. I guess you can sort of thinking of when you start a notebook instance, it's basically like checking out code on Git, and you have your own little version, you're working on it, you know, in your little VM that you're using, and then you when you commit it, that's when you share it to other people. I have no idea where we are. So at this point, we were 9 epochs in. And then we were 15 epochs in, and now we're 22, I guess. Except some of this is batches. I'm gonna say we're over halfway done. Assuming that we haven't you know, killed off a bunch of neurons, or we don't have... I'm a little bit worried about this issue encountered when serializing the types. We'll find out. Ryan says, I was thinking of doing something that does OCR on the screen, and then we'll write copy out the code to a Kaggle kernel. Like, I don't understand what you mean. So you're doing OCR on the screen and then copy the code out. It would help so we can follow along live, but could also be useful for giving warnings when there's R syntax on the screen. Rude, very rude. R is a first-class language at Kaggle, and we hold it very dear in our hearts, and it's extremely useful, and many people love it, including me. The Answer to Life says, pretty sure it's 20 epochs. Think it was defined at the top somewhere. Does anyone know what the batch dataset size is? So the dataset is like... Oh, somebody said this last time. However many verses there are in the Bible. Seamus Shmamus says, we're almost there, stall. The batch size was defined in the hyperparameter class all the way up here. So it is 32. We only have 20 epochs. Where's the 24 coming from? Right? It says out of 24, yeah? Yeah, where's the 24 coming from? Yeah, total equals number of batches, number of columns equals 70, so I'm assuming that's like how quickly this updates. I have no idea what that means. And I'm assuming this is the number of seconds per batch, I'm guessing. I think we're getting close. I don't know why we're doing 24 epochs when we said that we were going to be doing 20. I wonder if it's hard-coded somewhere else? Ryan says number of verses divided by batch size. Oh, that makes sense. It just happens to be that they are fairly close to each other, I'm guessing. The Answer to Life says, do we have 768 sentences? Maybe. Let's see. Let's look at our corpus that we are using. Well, this bakes. That's the downside of live coding, is I don't have one that I made earlier. How many columns? Yes, that's helpful, but I want to know how many rows you have. Oh, that's the keys. No, I want to know how many rows you have. Number of versus King James. No, it's King James. 31,000, which sounds roughly right, because I think we saved out 1,000 for our validation data. Jer says, there's a joke on the internet that says R is made by statisticians trying to program, and Python is made by programmers trying to do statistics. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. That sounds truthy. Wait, so why are we now at 8? So we were up here, we were going along, and then down here, continuing to go along. Well, hopefully this doesn't take more than 6 hours, because at that point, we will have errors. The Answer to Life says, what, are we running on multiple GPUs? We're running on... In as far as 0 is a multiple, yes. We're not running on any GPUs. We're just using the CPU, which you can see in our session information. We are using 367% of our CPU, which I think is pretty good. And I'm not entirely sure. I haven't done a bunch with just base TensorFlow. Mostly I've used Keras, so I'm not entirely sure how to turn the GPU on, actually, if you guys know. Let's see. Presumably it's in here somewhere. So, well, let's look at the code. Let's figure out what they're doing. So we're creating a TensorFlow graph object. The answer to life, how do we get 31K sentences with 32 batch size and 24 steps per epoch? I also do not know that because we actually specified 20 steps. Unless they're doing like mini batching, we didn't specify. So batch size is 32. So that we did specify. Or maybe number of steps is specified somewhere. Let's see. Step. Global step is a variable. Name global step. Trainable is false. Global step equals self dot global step. That mean loss. Optimize or minimize. Ryan says it would take 7 seconds to swap over to GPU and it's so much faster. I have no idea. I think the data loader is chunking things up. That could be possible. Shed says is steps and epochs equal. Number of life says number of steps is just the data length divided by the batch size. We can try it. We're maybe 50% of the way here. I don't know how. I don't know what these bars are telling us. Yeah, let's look into that. TensorFlow Python 2. Oh no, it's not. It's Python 3. We're using Python 3. The code was written in Python 2. GPU. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. Using GPUs. That is in fact what I want. On a typical system, there are multiple computing devices. In TensorFlow, the supported devices are CPU and GPU. They are represented as strings. Okay. If a TensorFlow operation has both CPU and GPU implementations, the GPU devices will be given priority when the operation is assigned to a device. For example, matmul, I'm assuming matrix multiplication, has both CPU and GPU kernels. On a system where devices CPU 0 and GPU 0, GPU 0 will be selected to run matmul. Logging device placement. To figure out which devices your operations and tensors are assigned to, log device placement, blah, blah, blah. If you would like a particular operation to run on a device of your choice instead of what's automatically selected for you. No, I do actually want to do the automatic selecting. I've changed my mind. Okay, so it should be create a session and save to true. So we should, is it still going? It is still going. I only have about 7 minutes because I do have to end at 5 here. Shed, so it looks like steps is the value we need to watch. That'll be the smallest value. So it'll be, you'll have the most number of steps total and then the number of batches and then the number of epochs. Or epochs. No, then why would it increase and decrease? Sorry, I was like, maybe it's doing automatic stopping. Yeah, let's try it. So config equals tp.config proto log device placement equals true. No, this is telling us, okay, so this is telling us information about what it is assigned to. Do we need to specify at some point that we have a GPU? Ryan says, Jer says, are you sure you want to assign ops manually? I don't, actually. I want to do it automatically if I can. And Ryan says, just wrap the entire thing with tf.device equals /GPU 0. All right. We will try it. Maybe try CUDA visible devices. The thing is, if I, so if I add a GPU, it will restart my session and I will lose. How do I make you go away? Sorry, I want the data file that's like, there's a zipped folder. Shoo. If I do that, we will lose all of our progress so far. And again, I have no idea how far we are. Just says 5 minutes before your class starts. Yeah. I think I'm just going to... I don't think it's going to take a full 6 hours to run because it is fairly small, she said, full of hope. The other thing that I can do, that I think I actually am going to do, is I'm going to reduce the number of epochs and I'm going to go down to 10. And we might end up with something a little bit underbaked, but oh well. And I do want to save the model out once it's trained. So I'm going to reduce the number of epochs and then commit. And then hopefully it will train, except I want to save it out so that we can play with it later if we want. Reduce to 10 for trial run. Shed says the GPU has to be defined. We're only halfway there. Jer says LS exactly what TensorFlow does by default. Just leave the stream on. It's done. It's done. Okay, we were doing all of our chit chat and it was not that bad. Okay. Yay. That's exciting. We've got 4 minutes. How do we tell if it worked? Kubyong, save us. Nope. Very cute kid. Not actually what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in here. Results. How do you get to them? Okay, where's the script you used to create this? Probably in eval.py suddenly I am thinking possibly that is where it is. Source target. All right, let's try this. Rachel, I feel like you've copy and pasted a lot in the stream. Yeah. I'm trying to be efficient. All right. Are we going to get a new and interesting error here? Probably. Oh, maybe not. Oh, yeah, we did. Okay, and the problem was in DE-sense. DE-sense. Where is that? TS. All right, no, that's right though. Okay. Oh, I see. The problem was when we loaded in the test data. Whoop. And then, oh, right. So this should be hp.source test, and this should be hp.target test. I believe will work. Let's see if it works this time. Oh, now I have to go to the bottom of this long file. All right. You gonna work now? It's thinking. Bullwright says there must be an output file somewhere, val.py. Package management equals sophisticated copy and paste. It's automating that copy and paste. Name corpus blue not found. All right. We got a new function defined. Val.py modules preprocess requirements train.py data low. Where is corpus blue? From nltk.translate.blue score import corpus blue. which you should only ever use blue when evaluating at the corpus level, so that is my fault for not correctly importing all of our requirements. The answer to life, blue is a useless metric in this case. I think it's actually okay, because, I mean, we're going to get like a super high blue because we're translating from two languages that are extremely parallel to each other. That's an error. Okay. Noted. All right. I do want to save this graph out real quick, though. TensorFlow graph save. That is helpful. Save and restore. Create saver to manage all variables in the model. Demonstrates how to call it. tf.saver. Yep. I'm gonna copy and paste this. Actually, was there... Did we do saver? S-A-V-E-R. Did that happen someplace else? That session restore. With config proto equals true. What is in our current directory? Oh, okay. Okay, so we've logged our results, our directory, and all the results are saved. We don't actually need to do that. Thank you very much, Kyubyeong. You did a good job saving us a lot of work. All right, so it has been saved. I do need to bounce. I'm assuming the log directory is the directory where the log has been saved, and I will, per Ryan's suggestion, just super quickly comment that out and really quickly run this so we can just see some output, because I do gotta go. And we did have like 1,000 sentences, so. Well, it did print done, so that's good. Oh, I see. Okay, so we should have a file in here. So let's cat out this file and see what we got. So really quickly, what's it called? All right. So do you remember how we... Let's actually just do the whole thing. I was going to say let's just do some of them, but results. Oh. No, we actually do want to do it. So we're going to change directory to results. And then we should be... Nope. Oh, that's right. Someone said it's actually os.change directory. Kaggle. Oh, I want to see results so bad. Working, and then I think we put it all in pre-processed because we're dumb. We're not dumb. That's a very reasonable place to put it. All right. So we're going to change directory to there. Oh, yep, no, that's true. It does not. Not a directory. And then we want to... I do actually want to list the files. So we just have the one file. And then we are going to... Actually, one sec. Let me really quickly... Sorry, I know I'm all over the place, but I want to change our hyperparameter back to 20. Just so when I commit this, you get the same thing out that I got. Hopefully, I don't think maybe I haven't set all of the parameters. And let's cat model. Oh. Can I just get the head? 20 underscore GS underscore 480. I cannot. Okay. So it's in there. Is it empty? Okay, it's definitely in here. EPOCH underscore 20 underscore GS underscore 480. It might be empty. It could be printing too much. Yeah, that's definitely true, but I can scroll, and usually when you try to print out too much stuff and it doesn't work, it's scroll. Oh, how do you figure out what the file size is? The answer to Life asked what the file size was, and I have no idea. How do you find out what the file size is? What if I just try size? Nucleohide has said it is ls l t h r. Total 0, so I think it's empty. And Shed says also ls flag L. Yeah. So we did something. I don't precisely know what it is that we did. So we're gonna figure this out next week because I do need to go. Bubble Riot says 1 hour to create an empty file. Hey, it's a very fancy empty file, and actually it was 4 hours because this is the fourth day that we've done it. All right, well, I'll commit this. It'll take a minute to train, and we'll figure it out next time. We'll spend some time on it and actually get it to work. And I will spend some time. I'll spend some time looking into the TensorFlow documentation, and see if there's anything there that would be helpful. And spending some time, maybe I'll play with the evaluation script, or maybe I won't do anything until it's time to train again. But it's committed. It's public. It's Transformers to Sounds Old-Timey is the notebook. Feel free to play with it in the meantime if you're interested. And yeah, I will talk to you guys next Friday, and I hope you have a great weekend. I'll see y'all then. Bye.